All right, man. Robert Cortez, Dream Art Jiu Jitsu, Fullerton.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much for having me.
Yeah, thanks for coming on the show.
And thanks for reaching out. Yeah, I'm a blue belt under Jason Baxter, Raymond Mujica Sr. and Jr. It's a father and son. Come by anytime. Like you said, Dream Art Fullerton. We have competition classes and open mats that are open for everyone.
Nice. Just gonna do that. Kind of messed myself up there too while I was doing that. That's okay. All right. So you're getting ready for Masters.
Yes, sir.
What are you doing to prepare for that?
So every week we have these. I say they're very similar to like a high school or college wrestling practice.
How so?
Well, our coach Jason Baxter is also a wrestling coach, on top of a jiu-jitsu coach, and he wrestled in college.
Oh, yeah, back up from your mic a little bit. Yeah.
But he has us going through, sparring and situational on top of, running and doing bear crawls and
the mic. Yeah, push it away from you. If you're gonna lean up, push it away. Yeah.
Running and doing bear crawls and just cardio on top of it. We'll do some sprints for 5 minutes, and then we had to go find a partner to spar, stuff like that.
Okay.
But I just think the way our gym is, if you just went every week, at least let's say 5 times, I think you'd be ready for a tournament.
Okay.
Most of our people compete, and most of our stuff is catered to people who do jiu-jitsu tournaments.
How many tournaments have you done so far?
I don't know exactly how many tournaments I've done. I know I have over 115 matches.
You done IBJJF before, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. How'd you do?
IBJJF is tough. It's been. I haven't done well yet. I have gold, bronze, and silver medals, all from other organizations, Jiu Jitsu World League and IBJJF. I'm hoping to get double gold this time around for the Master International. It'll be my second tournament back since I broke my ankle and I got a herniated disc on my back. But I'm always just gonna do the best that I can, and I'm going for the double gold.
Sweet. What happened to your ankle and your herniated disc? What happened there? Is that from training or?
From training, I was just getting double legged. I was gonna fall off the mat, but rather than reset, I was thinking in my head that if we kind of change our angle 45 degrees. Obviously, we weren't communicating; we're sparring. So when I took my 45-degree step to kind of change our direction, that's when they body locked me and took me down from the double, and my ankle just kind of collapsed underneath my body. And that was tough, man. I had to take 6 to 8 months off. Am I good?
Yeah.
I had to take 6 to 8 months off. I had no insurance. I had no nothing. I'm just sitting in my house man, am I not going to be able to train anymore? I don't know. I just couldn't walk. I had to stop working and everything. 6 months. I come back to jiu-jitsu probably after 6 months, bro. I have one leg, but I'm just the type I'm gonna put a little tape on it. I'm not even gonna tell everyone, hey, watch my ankle. I just want to be here so bad that I'm gonna go. And then so I started going. After 6 months, my ankles just felt very unsturdy. It's better now.
Wait, first of all, when you heard it, was this during practice, sparring
during
at
practice?
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was during practice, and I'm not one. It's just a weird scenario because I don't want to just jinx myself. I just don't get hurt like that. And I push through the pain, little things, broken fingers, concussion, stuff like that.
Yeah,
but,
I could certainly relate to that. Yeah, when I hurt myself, I always say, if I stop training every time I hurt myself, I'll never train.
Mm-hmm.
It's just part of the process.
Exactly. So it's I'd rather just keep going. But I think it messed up the alignment of my hips and my spine. So by the time my ankle started getting better, it started shifting my hips, and then especially trying to go back to jiu-jitsu, it gave me a little bit of herniated disc. So that actually hurt worse than my ankle.
Have you been seeing a chiropractor or somebody about that?
Yeah, I went to he was a spine specialist, chiropractor type of guy. He had me do these exercises and whatnot to kind of put my hips back in place because I was very tilted. So that alone took 4 to 6 months. And then So then I came back. I did the OC Open last year, and I think that was my first tournament. I think I jumped in a little bit too fast. Then I came back, did the Jiu Jitsu World League a few months after that. I was able to take third. I lost the match that would have put me into getting first by jumping on a guillotine. My coach hates when I do that. So
Yeah, why?
if he sees that.
Why does he hate that?
I have really good wrestling and passing, and then he's just like, all the things you're good at, you're just like,
You're throwing him out the door.
yeah, because you're just gonna you're going to your butt. And sometimes I'll get it, but then
See how the microphone's behind you? Just push it out in front of you. Yeah.
sometimes I'll get it, but it's like, my coaches are really good. They're very like accurate. So he's just like, you're gonna beat people with positioning and your wrestling skills and just maintaining top more times than you are gonna, jumping on that guillotine when they get out. Right now, currently, I do think that my guard has progressed tremendously. I really enjoy half guard, but that's not you don't drop to half guard from a guillotine. You'd mostly end up like in a full guard.
Yeah. And not only that, but you end up on your back.
On your back, yes.
And then if they get out,
they give them the point sometimes. It's just,
is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I remember a tournament where I jumped guillotine on the guy, but I was able to get him with it. Mm-hmm. But I remember thinking like, man, if I just grabbed the back of his head, snapped him down, pulled it, and he ended up in my closed guard, and I just cranked on it, and he tapped. But I remember thinking, dang, like if he would have got his head out, I would have been on my back. Which closed guard in sports jiu-jitsu is not the worst place to be. Mm-hmm. It's better than being in the guard. But I could certainly see how he would want you to use the stuff you have in your repertoire, the things you're good at, like your wrestling and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. Now, did you wrestle in high school?
So I get asked that a lot. A lot of people be like, oh, this guy's a wrestler. He likes wrestling. I do love wrestling. I do love wrestling. I love takedowns. Mm-hmm. I wrestled when I was 8, freestyle Santa Ana Wolfpack.
Oh, what's that?
So it was like a youth wrestling team. So this is what's crazy about me. I did all these sports growing up, wrestling. I did rugby, basketball, pretty much any sport that you can think of. I was raised by my stepfather and my mom. My stepfather's very sporty, big football guy. He's still a football coach to this day. So he was like, we'll put Robert in any sport he wants to do. We'll put Robert in any sport he wants to do. But then when football season comes, he's going to stop that sport and he's going to come and do football. But when it's summer, when it's not football, we can put him in whatever he wants. And me and, just having different friends and stuff. I had a Tongan friend. That's how he got me into rugby. But for the wrestling, my dad, I came home from practice and we just switched from flag to tackle.
Where were you living that they had rugby?
Fullerton.
Oh, is that right?
They have it's big in Fullerton. They have a youth program. They had it at a club at the Fullerton College. It's a club sport, but I believe they're D1 for Cal State Fullerton, and they have an adult program. And I excelled when I was 15. 14. I think it was under 14. We were the number 2 best team in all of California. We had to do this tournament where whoever won the tournament was going to represent California, and then it would be like California versus Nevada. And each state was doing their own tournament, and we ended up losing by 3 in the finals of that tournament. We made it to the finals of that tournament. But back to the wrestling, the only reason I had any knowledge of, or had even did it, and I was doing good. My dad was just, I came home, he was like, hey son, like, did you like football? I'm like, no, they're like trying to make me like tackle the guy, and he's like, yeah. I'm like, I don't want to do that. Like, I never done that. I just got to take the flag off him, and now they're trying to make me like grab him and take him down. Yeah. And he's just like, he just couldn't believe his ears. He's like, I thought you were going to be like happy. I thought you were going to be excited that, now you're old enough to do the tackling thing. So he's like, this is not going to fly. He's just sitting there pondering like, what should I do? So then he had a friend where his son was in the Santa Ana Wolfpack wrestling. So he's just talking to my mom. He's like, I think we're gonna have to put him in wrestling. He's like, because if he does wrestling, he's gonna understand contact, and when he comes back to football, he will be better. So then I do a season of rugby. I do a season of wrestling. Totally do well. They're asking for me to stay on the team, to be a part of the team, like do all these like kids tournaments. And my parents are like, oh, really just have him here for football. Go back to football. I do pretty good. So then when finally I'm in high school, I don't wrestle my freshman year for whatever reason. Then I wrestle when I'm in 10th grade. Nothing crazy. I'm just like the JV All-Star. And I was cool with that. Looking back, I'm like, I should have been like pushing to go varsity.
What high school?
Fullerton High School.
Oh, okay.
I should have been pushing to go varsity, but I was just like, okay, I could be the undefeated JV guy, and I'm cool with that. Again, so back, it's like how my parents raised me is everything was for football. Everything else was side gigs.
Or it was all in preparation for you playing football.
Exactly. So now I'm in 11th grade, and I'm like, well, I already know how to wrestle. I want to be good at football. I'm going to be a senior next year. Where am I kind of lacking? And I'm like, I could definitely be a little bit faster. So then I was like, well, so I'm going to go try out for the track team. Even if I don't make it, I'm going to do the track workouts and get faster. So when I play outside linebacker, I can be the fastest on the field. So then I just totally skipped wrestling that year. Looking back, that was a mistake, but that's just what I did. That's what it is. So then I go back senior year, man, and I'm totally doing well, killing it. I think I'm like 4-1 in the season, doing 170. I remember I had asked my coach, like, yo, this is the last match before league finals. Like, should I go down to 160 so that way at league finals I can, kind of be accustomed to dropping, And he was like, no, you're going to beat this guy at 170. So let's just finish the year strong, and then at league finals, you're going to do 160. I'm like, okay. Again, my parents didn't really, they were all about football. So it's like wrestling was kind of like my own thing. Like I just did it on my own. So now I'm like 5-7 pounds overweight. I don't know what to do. I had one friend kind of helping me. He's like, yo, after practice, you're going to have to go for a run. You're going to have to go for a run. I didn't have a scale or anything, so I'm just like running into exhaustion. I wake up, it's league finals. I go over there. I step on the scale. I'm 0.4 over. And then my coach, instead, because they were going to disqualify me, and then he was like, oh, there was a discrepancy. Like, he's not supposed to be 160. He's supposed to be 170. So then I do 170. Obviously, it's all the 180 guys coming down. I able to get fourth, which is not very good. And all the people that placed for 160 were all guys that I had beat throughout the year. So that it kind of just like dawned on me. So it's like I never had any high level wrestling, but it was always like I liked wrestling, and I fell short of kind of doing things I thought I should have been able to do. And I think that kind of motivated me more for Jiu Jitsu. Like, I just want to get the most out of this because I always was doing things to fall short of, whether it be winning a tournament or this or that. Growing up, I was always kind of just messing up.
How old are you now?
29.
Or you're 29?
Yes, sir.
And when did you find Jiu Jitsu? When did you start training?
I believe around the age of 23 to 24.
Oh, so you've been training a little bit.
Yeah.
About 5 years.
Yeah. So, hopefully my coach doesn't get mad. I'm not asking for my purple belt, but I'm saying that my goal, I think you should always, I hate this, like, people are like, oh, I don't care about my next belt. So yeah, it's like, of course you do. It's like saying, like, it's like having a job, and then, the boss is like, whoever has the most sales this year, you're going to get a raise or you're going to get a bonus. And then you're just at work like, oh, I don't care about getting the extra sales. Well, no, maybe you shouldn't, you can put that stress on yourself. Like, oh, if I don't get this bonus, if I don't get this extra sales, like, my life sucks. But it's a little goal for you to have. And it's a good thing. Like, people try to make it out like it's like this bad thing. Like, no, like, that's my next belt. I should be, how do I do against those guys that are that belt? How do I do against those girls that are that belt? When I look at the Flow Grappling Instagram, when I look at Flow and I see the purple belts, the blue belts that are winning tournaments. How do I do? You know, I think there's this like, I think jiu-jitsu almost has like too much camaraderie. This is last night when I was kind of just thinking of things I wanted to talk about. This is one of them. And this is coming from someone who's like, if I beat you in a tournament, I'm not going to do a backflip. I don't know how to do a backflip. I'm not going to rip my gi open and put my hands up. But what I will say is like, if I lost, if I'm the loser and you do a backflip, that I seen a guy do a backflip before this. He was a judoka under like Daniel Cormier school. Mm-hmm. I think that it should be appropriate. I think there's nothing wrong with it.
You had said that you have a problem with the camaraderie.
Yes.
I'm sorry. You said you think there's too much camaraderie.
Too much respect.
Explain that a little bit. That's interesting perspective there. What do you mean by that exactly?
So even yesterday, I'm watching these like skateboarding videos, and I don't even know how to skateboard, right? And these two, it's actually a skit, but this guy, he's like, "Hey, do you want to play skate?" And the one guy's like, he's kind of like, "Oh, like you want to play against me?" He's like, "Yeah, let's run it." And then so the other guy's like, "Yo, I'm about to torture you right now, bro." So they haven't even started yet. They're a little bit talking and growing up playing football, and like I explained, I played all these sports. So it was like, you're in football, you're my friend, maybe, and today I'm doing defense. When we go live, I'm gonna be on defense and you're gonna be on offense. It's like I'm not gonna like, oh, he's my friend. Like I wanted to smash you. I wanted to hit you, and then so that way after practice I can be like, yo, bro, I laid the hat on you. But then in jiu-jitsu, it's like, you know, and it's like in after practice, yo, it's like I laid the hat on you, dog. And then he's like, yeah, you know what? You know what, dog? You got me today. You did. You laid the hat on me, but I'm going to get you tomorrow. And I'm be like, hey, I'll be waiting. I'll be like, you know, when I'm waiting and when tomorrow comes, it's going to be just like it was today. I'm going to smash you again. And you know what? We're the best of friends. We're talking. We go out and get a pizza after. And jiu-jitsu is like, if you were to like, you know, there's a few heads who are cool with it. And especially at my school, because everything in my life has been Fullerton, the jiu-jitsu gym I train at now is Fullerton. With that being said, there's alumni that go to my gym that I went to school with. Okay. So, but I think in jiu-jitsu, there's, you know, people, if I was at the gym, kind of like telling this guy, dude, I freaking subbed you today, dog. And I'm kind of like boasting about it. And then, you know, he's kind of like, oh, you know, I'm going to get you tomorrow. People are like, oh, these guys are kind of like weird. Like, it's just practice. And it's like, bro, like, you have to have a little bit of like,
I think I see where,
you know what I mean?
Where
like,
you're going with this.
You know, and it's like the same thing where it's like, you don't care about the belt, or people that are like, I don't care about winning in practice. I asked my coach, you know, me and Jason, we're very cool with each other. Because not only is he my coach, but he's my friend. He's kind of like my mentor. Mm-hmm. And I just asked him, like, hey, if I think like this, is that bad? And he's like, no, why would that be bad?
I think it's actually a very interesting perspective that you have. I've had and it's actually given me cause for reflection. Mm-hmm. Because I've had instances rolling with partners where they're just literally talking shit to me. And I'm thinking, as I'm on the bottom, I'm thinking to myself, well, that was mildly inappropriate. Mm-hmm. But maybe it's not, and maybe it's just part of the fun.
Well,
you know,
you see, I don't like to talk during the roll.
I don't either.
I mean, I'm a blue belt. I mostly would be more for like after. It's like just trying to motivate your friend. Like, hey, you got me yesterday, I got you today. Yeah, and maybe you'll get me tomorrow. But it just, if somebody did that to me, like, I wouldn't be mad. I would be like, why was I in bottom enough for them to be able to have a conversation with me? Like, I should be getting out of there. If I'm on the bottom and I'm not in a good spot, I should be getting to a good spot. So like I said, this is everything that I'm saying is, like I said, it's not coming from someone who wants to win worlds and do a backflip and then show everybody that I'm the best. Right. This is coming from someone who's like, if I lost and the other guy did a backflip, I'd be like, you know what? Let him have his moment.
Yeah,
like,
good for him.
Good for him. Like, he just won. Every other sport, you know, college football, they score a touchdown. They're doing a backflip. The whole team's running on the field, giving each other a hug. I mean, friggin' bowling. You know, the guy, Blake Weaver? He wins. The crowd's going crazy. He's celebrating. So it's like every other sport you can celebrate, but in jiu-jitsu, if you celebrate, you're like unholy or something. It's like it just makes
sense. Well, I mean, even like in football, like they used to be able to do the touchdown dances and spike the ball.
They'd go crazy.
And it's part of the fun.
It's part of the fun.
And then they just took that away, and and I even myself have thought football just got boring. So I definitely see your perspective. I think it's a good one, actually. I mean, I think it's just one of those things where just know your audience.
Yeah.
So like if you have somebody, maybe they're brand new, you're not gonna like be, hey dude, your jiu-jitsu sucked today, bro.
No,
they might get their feelings hurt. But I mean, if it's somebody you've trained with for the last couple of years and he can handle it, like, hey bro, I was smashing on you, bro. I'm catching up.
Exactly.
I'm catching up, bro.
Exactly.
It's gonna be
nothing too crazy.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not talking about your mom or nothing. I'm just, yo, bro, you're looking a little slow today, dog. You're looking a little slow today.
Yeah.
You all right? You get enough sleep?
Yeah.
I'm just wondering.
Yeah, and I like that because you're checking on your buddy.
Yeah, you get enough sleep, bro, because I don't normally pass your guard like that.
Right.
But today I was. Everything going okay? You doing okay? And they're like, I'm all right. And then it's like at our gym, it's very, one of the Legion guys, he called it the gold star rounds, where you don't know who's going to win. Everybody's really good. We have a really great masters team. Most of our people started in like their mid-20s. But it's very back and forth, so it's like, again, it's not coming, I don't want to do a backflip after I beat you. And, I've told guys, hey, you look slow today. And guys have told me that too, and I'm cool with it. Like, I have no problem with that. Like, that's on the fun, right? Like, I think just growing up playing Pop Warner, playing football, all these different sports, that's what you do. That's how you make each other better. Like, yo, I surpassed you today. Tomorrow you might surpass me, and it's a never-ending cycle of us getting better. But this like walking on eggshells, like, oh, I don't want to go too hard on this person. Like, they're gonna say that I went too hard or this or that. Like, I think it's like especially if you're doing the competition classes, just you should be going hard the whole time, pushing yourself the whole time.
Yeah, I agree. We have competition classes. I try to avoid them sometimes, but just because I get tired. But we definitely had a problem at our gym of people leaving early because we go 12 rounds, 13 rounds of hard rounds, and our coach, our black belt coach, they cut that out. They're like, we gotta like tighten this up. People are just leaving after 4 rounds, and it was a good idea. Because not only did it force me, just talking about me personally, not only did it force me to change up how I do things at the competition class, because we have it every Wednesday after the regular class, and man, I was going balls out, blowing my wad after 4 rounds, and just dying, dead, done, and then I just pack up my shit and go, which is not cool, because the rest of your team's like, shit, when this guy just left, there goes one training partner we don't have. So it forced me to change up my game and to be able to survive 12 hard rounds. And, so I definitely think that was good for us.
Absolutely.
Those competition classes are important. Are you guys a pretty tight group over there?
I think so. Like, it's a pretty tight group. But like I said, most of majority of our team are masters competitors. So everybody... One thing I will say, shout out Dream Art, Fullerton, shout out Jason Baxter, Raymond Michigan. We are very tight, but we are all like masters competitors. We have some people who are in the medical industry.
For people who don't know what masters competitors is, can you take a second to...
Essentially, masters competitors is just going to be anybody that was born after 94, people that probably have kids, people that have jobs. As to where the adults now, some of the adults have kids, some of them have jobs. I'm sure they do. For the most part, it's going to be kids who are sponsored and are able to train BJJ full time.
Okay.
I do think we're a pretty tight knit group, but back to just us being masters competitors. We have some people who are in the medical industry. We have some other people who are engineers. Like, we are pretty tight, and everybody is very, very, very supportive of one another. If somebody does a tournament, they win. Like, everyone on the team is posting it. Like, majority of the team, especially the ones that have social media, right? They're posting it. Good job, bro. You get double gold. Everyone's very supportive. We are a tight knit group, but everybody does still have like their own lives and does their own thing, because we're all in the median age, I would say like 25 to 35. If you're not doing your own thing, like career wise, then you're probably like figuring it out, you know, what you're going to do. Like I go to Jiu Jitsu, you know, let's just say 4 times a week. The other times, you know, he's doing this to try to figure out his life. Okay, he's going to start making money this way, or he's starting a new job, whatever it may be. So we are close, but like, you know, it's not like all of us just have jobs and families and stuff. So
right. Speaking of family, you had mentioned that you grew up with a stepdad.
Yes, sir.
What was that? I'm asking because I'm a stepdad of 2 young boys. What was it like? Having a stepdad. What was that experience like?
It was good. Shout out to my stepdad, my family. If anybody sees this, Jesse Smith. He's the coach, Fullerton High School football coach. Shout out to him. Shout out to him raising me. I think that, I think a child needs a father. Not to say anything about kids who are raised in single parents' homes. I think, you know, anybody could grow up to be a good man. But I was just blessed that, you know, my stepdad had a daughter. She's my sister. I call her my sister. She'd be my stepsister. We talk like almost every day. We're the ones that grew up together. I have 3 brothers and 2 sisters. My stepsister and I are the ones closest in age. But I'm very thankful to him. He gave me a lot of like tough love. And I think, you know, that it's like if you want to do a combat sport, right? People ask me like, hey, well, I kind of want to do jiu-jitsu, or like I kind of want to do jiu-jitsu, but I don't want to do this, or I don't want to train with this person, or I don't want to go to this class. I'm like, well, that you're already kind of messing up, because step 1 is you got to be tough and you got to be not scared. Because if you're there scared, you're not learning as much as you could. But I'm thankful to be raised by my stepdad. He was in the Navy, a lot of like tough love kind of style.
What did he do in the Navy?
Oh, that I don't know. I don't know exactly what jobs he did. I just know that he was in Desert Storm. That's it. So
okay.
How
old were you when?
4.
You were 4. So
yeah.
you're a young guy.
Yeah, I call him dad. I mean, I go home, if he's there, I'll be like, hey, what's up, Dad? How you doing?
Yeah.
He's gone to some of my tournaments. My parents are as supportive as they can be. Again, I'm 29, so I still have 2 siblings who are in high school. So it's like, if they're like, oh, we're gonna go watch our 15-year-old daughter cheerleading recital, or our 30-year-old son's jiu-jitsu tournament, like I want them to go to my sister's thing, you know.
Has that happened?
I don't know, not like exactly in that sense, but I'm sure that, you know, there's been like, oh, we have this planned with your brother or sister. I'm like, oh, okay, right, yeah, you know, that's no problem. But they've gone to a few tournaments, my siblings. But to answer your question, it's good, and I'm thankful to be raised by my stepdad. I don't even call him stepdad; I just call him dad. Your dad. And I think but also since I'm very light skinned, I'm Mexican, I speak fluent Spanish, but my stepdad is black.
Okay.
I think that also, well, him already putting me in wrestling since I was 8, and then we have these 2 cousins on his side of the family, my cousins. One goes to do like army training, and one goes to do like Marine training. They're gone for like 3 months. They come back. I'm like 10 years old at the time. And my dad, so we used to always go to church on Sundays, right? So he's like, they come back, so they're feeling all big and bad. You know, they're 18 and I'm 10. So then he's like, do you guys want to wrestle Rob? They're like, you want us to wrestle Rob?
He's 10.
Yeah, like he's 10. And he's like, no, it'll be okay. I just totally, you know, I won. Long story short, my cousin, he still brings it up to this day. You remember when you beat me up when you were 10? I'm like, man, I didn't beat you up. We were wrestling. Yeah. But I think that it just helped me be tough, because I was like, okay, maybe I went to a very like diverse school, Fullerton. At the time, it was very diverse, but I think I was just like, nobody ever said anything racist to me. My dad is my family in general is very well respected. Like at Fullerton High School, they do a lot. They've been a part of it since even before I went there, because my cousins went there.
Okay.
But I think just as a guy and just, you know, like, okay, if somebody ever tries to make fun of me, be say, hell, your dad's, you're Mexican, your dad's black or whatever. Like I said, it never happened, but I was always like, I got to learn how to like defend myself, because if anybody tries to talk crap, I'm going to be quick to be like, hey, that's my dad or that's my brother's. So I think it just, just another variable of why I wanted to learn self-defense and combat sports, where I'm like, nobody's going to ever be able to make fun of me. I like to think of myself as like someone who's easy to get along with. So I never really ran into those troubles. There's been like maybe a few instances where that happens, but it's like for the most part, no one's ever tried that. Now, growing up, I got in a lot of fights, but that's not the reasoning. Not the reasoning because of my family or anything like that. I was just a knucklehead.
Getting in fights like after school?
Yeah, well, especially when I graduated high school when I was like 17. So I think a lot of kids do it even still to this day, where they're just full of testosterone, don't know what to do. So they just go to the park, box with their friends, wrestle with their friends, or do MMA with their friends. So that was kind of going on for a bit. It's kind of wrestling here and there. Going to a couple, like some wrestling, like coach friends that were coaching wrestling, going to those practices. I had a cousin who contacted me she wanted to try Jiu Jitsu. Gracie Baja La Habra, I think it was.
Do they have a Gracie Baja in La Habra?
This was years ago.
Oh.
This was years. This was almost a decade ago. So I believe I went, and then I was like, did pretty good, but I never stuck with it. I went for like 3 days. I think they gave you the free 3 days, right?
Yeah.
And then I think she was like, oh, okay, I think she said she wanted to do it, or I forget, I was much younger. But so then for a while I wasn't doing anything. That's actually the weirdest thing. So then I told you I started training like around 23, 24. So for the age. And so this is another thing. People are like, oh, you did all these sports and you did all these things. And again, I have no major titles, right? So it's like no one's like, oh, that's why you won worlds. But I have wins and I have losses, right? Just like everyone else.
Yeah.
And some people are like, oh, you're able to do good because you did wrestling. They're like, oh, you're able to do good because you did rugby. But it's like from 20 to 24, I was just going to Burning Man, Symbiosis, doing stuff like that.
Yeah. No
type of physical activity whatsoever. I was just, I don't know what it was up. I was like, I thought I was maybe like a hippie, hanging out with hippie girls, going to like Burning Man parties, smoking weed, stuff like that. And like not even doing push-ups. I'm telling you, like I was like 230, just not doing none of that. I'm partying with these guys. They live in Fullerton. They lived in these apartments in Fullerton. And then they're like, but I mean, this guy, one of my buddies, he wrestled at Mount Sac. So he was kind of like saying, oh, I used to wrestle at Mount Sac, so I could take you down. And I'm like, I bet you can't. And he'd be like, I bet you I could. His neighbor comes over, blah, blah, blah. He's just like, hey, honestly, you guys are always talking about wrestling. He's like, I'm a black belt. R.I.P. to him, Davey Moorhead. He lived at these apartments in Fullerton, and he's like, I'm a black belt. I train with these guys, Raymond Mujica and Jason Baxter. You should come with us. So I'm like, I'm there. I'll be there tomorrow. And then he's like, and I'll let you wrestle George. That was the guy's name that I kept saying that he would take me down because he went to Mount Sac. So I was like, I'll be there tomorrow.
Yeah. Push just away 1 inch, just away from you. Yeah.
Better?
Yeah.
So then I showed up. At the time, it was BTT Fullerton. Mm-hmm. I showed up there to essentially to wrestle George because I was like, this guy's always saying he's going to take me down, and I'm like, I'm not with that.
So you hadn't even done jiu-jitsu yet?
Just that one day with my cousin, or those 3 days.
Okay, just those 3 days.
Yeah,
Got
so
it.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know no jiu-jitsu. Right. Go into a morning class. My buddy, shout out Kyle Guzman. He's a purple belt on our team. He always laughs. He said like my hair was all long and shaggy, and I just looked like this big hippie. But I came in. The guy didn't show up. The George didn't show up. But I was like, I'll still do the practice. And I actually just pretty much just been going ever since then. I only knew Ray Jr. He was teaching the morning classes. And he was like, Jason comes in one day. And both our coaches, shout out to them. I can never give them enough praise or thanks. They both still had regular jobs at the time. So Jason still had a day job. He worked for like aerospace or something like that. So he was never, so Ray just took care of the morning class and Jason would take care of the night class because he worked during the day. And I think Ray worked for the city, but he would start at like 5 a.m. and he was able to get to the gym by like 11 or something like that. But then he's just like, let's say like within 3 months, I'm talking to him like, yo, I want to do a jiu-jitsu tournament. I want to do a tournament. I want to compete somehow. And the only thing that was coming up was like this little catch wrestling tournament for Josh Barnett. I go there. I beat a black belt. Simply, he shot on me, and I Uchima'd him from the shot. And since he landed on his back, he couldn't get me off. And so I won the match via pin. And that set me up. I'm a white belt. I'm talking about I'm a complete white belt. That set me up to go in the finals versus Adam Bradley. If you know who that is, he's a black belt world champ. ADC. He just I think he got second at ADCC trials. At the trials against Pixley, he lost in the finals. Some people say he might have won. I'm not here to say he won or he lost, but he's a very good competitor, and he happened to just be at that tournament. Josh Barnett ran this catch wrestling tournament. He's like, well, we're doing catch wrestling, so it's not beginner, middle. It's like you guys are gonna fight by your weight, and that's it. Maybe just like a hungry white belt. It's like, oh, this sounds cool. This sounds so cool. I lose to Adam Bradley, but that was like I got to step foot on a mat with somebody who was like, okay, this guy is like legit. This guy's super legit. He's the #1 purple belt at the time. So I was like, okay, I kind of want to be like that. Like, just I want to be serious like him. Like everyone's like, it's gonna be tough going against him. He wins the tournament. He won the tournament. Shout out Josh Barnett. Shout out Adam Bradley. So that was my first jiu-jitsu tournament ever. But back to what I was saying. So then Ray introduces me to Bax, and he's like, yo, this guy Rob, he's pretty good. So then he's like, Bax is like, well, if you're good like he says, like, you can keep coming to the morning class. There's not a problem with that. He's like, but you should try to make your way to the night class because, and I'm 22, 23. I don't have a job or anything. So I'm less like, go to the morning class, go out with some girls or go out and party in the nighttime. So he's like, well, everybody gets out of work at nighttime, so you're going to get much better roles at that time. Started going there. So then I started going like two times a day. And I'm a white belt for like, I want to say like 4 years, but there's 2 years were during COVID. And then I'm my blue belt, I feel like I'm similar. I've had my blue belt for a while, but with the 2 injuries, I don't feel like I've been on the mat that long.
What did it do to you that you were out for 6 months? What did that do for you? What did it do to you? Like, you weren't able to work. What were you doing with your time?
I wasn't able to work. I remember, shout out to my mom. She's the best. Happy Mother's Day. So the year previously, I had got COVID. My mom is very big on like, she just loves family stuff, and she plans stuff for all of us. And I understand it costs money. Like she got us tickets to Phoenix Suns games, all of us before, stuff like that. But I had gotten COVID, so she was like sad, and she had bought me this, like, we were supposed to go to like this baseball game or something in Phoenix, but I couldn't go. Obviously, I had COVID. So now this is the next year. I break my ankle. But you have to understand, I don't have insurance. I didn't have insurance. I do now, but I didn't have insurance at the time. So I'm just like sitting at the house with a fat ankle. And, like, it's almost like no one believes you unless you go to the doctor and get a cast. And they're like, oh, you went to the doctor, you got a cast, you're broken. I'm like, man, my ankle's broken. Like, I can't walk. Like, 100%. I've had a million sprained ankles, rolled ankles. Like, this is different. But since I'm not going to the doctor, my mom's still kind of like, So she's like, well, last year you got COVID and you didn't come with us to Arizona. So she's like, this year I want you're going to come with us. I don't care if you're dying. So I'm like, all right. So I'm just like, I go to the Phoenix Suns game. I'm just like walking around limping. and limping.
No boot or nothing?
No boot, nothing. And
On a broken leg?
on a broken ankle.
Or ankle, yeah.
Yeah. So then I'm just dragging my foot around essentially. And then when I come back, I'm pretty much moving from Fullerton to Costa Mesa because I was leaving my parents' spot and getting my own spot. So it's like all these things I had to do. So it's like I had to move. It's like I don't have that much furniture, right? But it's like when you only have one leg, it freaking sucks.
Yeah.
So then I'm like, okay, so then I got to move my stuff into my Costa Mesa house. And I haven't been working, so I'm like, okay, I set this up for me to start renting out an ADU, kind of like this, but it was in the back of someone's house in Costa Mesa. So I'm like, well, I had to start working. So I'm pretty much just like, I had $2,000 to my name. And I spent that to get the place. So I don't even have gas. I don't have anything. Have the broken ankle. I'm like, I had to start walking to the bars nearby and just applying and being like, yeah, I want to work here. I want to work here. Some of the places were like, one of the places they're like, yeah, you can stay and work today. And then, if you do good, you'll come back tomorrow, blah, blah, blah. One of the places were like, yeah, you seem like a really nice guy, but you walk really, really slow. Like, you walk really slow, so we're not going to call you back. I'm thinking in my head, like, man, I have a broken ankle, like, but I'm just trying to, like...
You're trying to work security,
yeah,
but you have a broken ankle.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, that's something because, you're thinking... I would be thinking to myself, well, I'm just not in a condition to be bouncing.
Yeah, I mean, security. Well, I just needed money.
Yeah.
I needed money. You got to, like, even... I never even told anyone this before, but it's... shout out Jason Baxter. I remember, so when I first moved to Costa Mesa, I have these guys, they had, what do they call it? They had, like, the Playboy Mansion. They made our backyard like a mini version of that.
What do you mean?
Like it had the waterfall with the grotto, like exactly what you would see their pool look like.
Oh.
Like ours was the mini version of it. And it was just like all these like 27-year-old single dudes living there, right? And I just happened to just get the spot. But I'm just saying from the Instagram looking in, you're like, oh, Rob just moved out. He has a nice pool. Then to keep your pool clean, it costs money too, right? Yeah. So like, oh, he just moved out. He must be doing like pretty good. I'm like, man, this is the last dollar I had to my name, I gave to my landlord. Like I'm walking to the bars to apply. Yeah. Jason's texting me. He's like, where are you at? I'm like, yo, like, I don't have gas. I don't even have gas to go to practice. Like, I want to be there, but it's just hard for me. Jason's like, what? Sends me money right away. He's like, yo, like, come to practice. He never asked for the gas money back. They're both so helpful to me, Jason and Ray.
But you have a broken foot.
Well, I'm recovering at this time. 4 months, probably like 4 months had already passed.
I gotcha.
So I'm better, but not like I'm not sprinting.
But they see something in you. And they're your buddies.
Now looking back, because Jason's like, and especially with me, like I'm tough love, right? That's how I was raised, right? So he's not gonna be like rubbing my back, like, yo, like I think you can be something. Yeah. But he's just gonna be little instances like that, like how you said. Why would he do that? That's why it took me a while to realize that, like, that was, in a sense, that's his way to be like, I want you to be here because you can do something. It's like him. He gave me money for gas. Never like questioned me about it. He was just like, put that in your gas tank and come to practice. Yeah. Another time, when we had switched, when we were becoming from BTT Fullerton to Dream Mart Fullerton, right? I remember I was like, I don't remember what it was, but I had spent my last 100, and then, so they were like, okay, we're gonna do this seminar. It's gonna be $100, and our coaches, they don't ever do like mandatory stuff like, oh, we're gonna have a seminar. And I see other coaches do it in other teams. I'm just saying what they do. Jason's never gonna be like, I'm gonna host a seminar here next week and you have to go. He's not even going to do it at all, right? He's not going to try to get money out of us at all, like in that way. But for some, at the time I didn't know. He's like, for some reason they were like, we want all of you here. They'd never done anything like that. Hey, we're having a seminar. It's going to be $100. We want everyone here. And I'm like, you know what? I just don't have the $100 right now. And then Ray is like, I'm going to give the 100 to Jason for you. And you just give me back the 100 when you have it. Mm-hmm. And with that, I was able to be a part of like that. Isaki came to our gym, taught a seminar. And then they were like, hey, just so you guys know, now we are collaborating and you guys will be the first stream art in Fullerton. And without Ray giving the 100, like, I wouldn't have been able to be there, right?
Yeah.
So, and it's like, he did that because he wanted me to be there, right? And it's the same thing with Jason giving me the gas money. Like, he wanted me to be there. So, like I said, they're not only my coaches, but they're my friends, they're my mentors. And I've never told anybody either of these things, but, anybody listening to this podcast or tunes in, like, they'll see, like, Jason and Ray, they help me a lot in those ways, or just sometimes I just talk to them, ask them questions, but they're just both just good people.
I like that. And I like to hear stories about good coaches.
Yeah.
I think it's so important to have good coaches out there who are good examples. Mm-hmm. So you had mentioned, in addition to bouncing, you're also a plumber.
Yes.
Yeah. Where are you working
at? So my buddy was working for Ruderman, and he's separated to make his own business. And then so he had contacted me. Shout out Gilbert Ariano. If you see this, hit me up or hit up Gilbert Ariano for your plumbing work. But he had hit me up to do the plumbing apprenticeship, because it's like another guy that I played football with, they went to Ruderman together. So now it's like each van has two guys.
Ruderman is his business?
It's like a pretty prevalent like plumbing business in SoCal.
Oh, okay.
And so those two guys, they were separating to make their own business. And then they called me and they're like, hey, if you're willing to do some hard shit for the first 3 months, like, well, you could be our plumber apprentice and we'll pay you $30 an hour. So obviously I was like,
sweet.
I jumped on it.
Yeah.
For the first few weeks, I was just digging trenches for them to get to the pipes.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. But I mean, nowadays they have all these tools, right? Like I posted like, oh, I just dug this 4-foot hole. And I did do that. But they have this thing, like, it's like a jackhammer almost.
Yeah.
And it's just made the grass all soft. And then I just dug it after that. Now, it would be much harder if it was just like with the shovel, but it also wasn't like super easy. It's still like manual labor, right?
Yeah. But it's such a great skill for people to have, electricians, plumbers.
I was so thankful. Again, shout out Gilbert Ariano. It was actually thanks to him that I was able to pay for Master International, because I had waited so long. It was almost $230. $230
for the one coming up. Mm-hmm. Wow. And that's on the 30th.
Yes.
Of this month.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. You excited about that?
I'm excited. I think one of the first things we started talking when I hopped in, is I think I have the skill to keep up with the adults? Absolutely. But it's more of like the injuries that I have. And I think and shout out IBJJF for creating master opportunities and creating more champions. But I believe Masters is for people who have jobs and people who've had injuries and kind of just been through some stuff, not having to go against the people who are able to just train BJJ 7 times a week. Or like 14 times a week, right? 2 times a day.
Yeah. Why do you say keep up with them?
The adults are the best. The adults will be labeled as the best. Even if I win blue belt, double gold, Master 1, and
with the other 20, 30-year-olds, I mean, like the other 20-year-olds, youngsters, or like 18-year-olds, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And I said if the guy who, like, let's say I do medium heavy Masters 1, and the adult medium heavy, like, I feel his title is better. His title is better
for the regular,
for the adult
18.
one.
Yeah,
I think that, but it's crazy at the same time though. It's like, you can only do Masters if you're that age and you're that belt. Everything is separated. Yeah. So it's not like this little whack thing on the side. I think it's still like legit. But the
Masters.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
But I think the adult would be considered the best. But saying like if you show me the guys who win the Open adult and the 3 guys who win Masters 1 adult, like they said, hey, you're gonna have a super fight with one of these 5 guys. Me being the 6th guy. Hey, when you're gonna have a super fight with one of these 5 guys, I'd be like, okay.
Yeah.
Like I do. That's what I mean. Like I do think I could keep up. Like I have the skills and the speed to keep up with them, but they just have youth on their side, the lack of injury.
Yeah, that's true. But I feel like the older dudes have like that old man strength.
Absolutely.
And they have like I'm 45.
Wow.
You know what I mean? But I rarely, not to like toot my own horn. I always like to tell people I'm the best in the world. It's all just fun and games. But I don't have too much trouble from the youngsters. Like I get a lot of trouble from the older guys.
It's funny. It's funny you say that because I've done the Jiu Jitsu World League. So I just make the cutoff to do Masters 1. So then I was like, okay, I'm gonna step back into tournament. And I thought the Masters 1 guys, they're stronger. I thought they were stronger because, like you said, they kind of have that grown man strength. And some of these kids, I almost think some of them don't lift. Like they're 17, 18, 19. They're just kind of doing whatever they're naturally at. Like I weigh 185 pounds. I'm going to do a medium heavy blue belt adult because that's what I weigh. I just train every day. I'm super flexible. My parents, pay for me to do tournaments and whatnot.
Yeah.
And, but I definitely think strength, the Masters 1 competitors, it was like each one of them were like, they all lift weights. That's how it felt. And
I think that's just how, I don't lift weights at all.
I rarely lift weights.
I should.
I joke around. I'm like, I don't lift weights. That shit's too heavy, dog.
Yeah. Yeah.
I had like so many little injuries though from other sports. I had these like shoulder impingements. It's like my shoulder clicks every time. Like, what if I move it like this?
Yeah.
So I just get like embarrassed to like lift with people because it's like I'd be doing like 95 pounds on bench, right?
Yeah, that's me.
It just looks like weird. You're like, this guy, you feel much stronger, you look much stronger, but when we get in the weight room, it's like, this shit hurts.
It's weird, right?
It hurts.
Yeah, because people always tell me, man, you're strong. And I'm like, really? Thanks. Because like, I don't lift weights at all. And when I do lift weights, just exactly like you said, I'm bench pressing like 100 pounds. Like
it's not that
basically
good.
The 25s on each side. Like
white belt lifting weights. Yeah.
Yeah. And I know I should lift weights because I'm older and I got to keep the muscle mass and stuff, but it's hard to do that. What are some of the toughest challenges that you face with jiu-jitsu?
Well, first and foremost, for sure, the injuries, like, being off of the mat. And I told you before, like before I started training, I was just kind of pretty much going to like Burning Man, Symbiosis, hippie parties. So
you still smoking weed and all that?
I smoke weed. I don't really do anything else. I don't even really drink. Sometimes I do. I'll go to a music festival like once every other month, and I'll kind of let loose there.
Yeah.
But that's kind of what jiu-jitsu helped me. That's what I was gonna say. That I don't think that they call themselves burners, Burning Man people. Mm-hmm. Shout out to burners. Like, there's nothing wrong with your lifestyle and what you do.
Yeah.
If that's what you want to do, I still love live music, but I think like jiu-jitsu was a better outlet for me. But ironically though, so it's like, you see, I'm my goal, even when I first broke my ankle, I'd be like, I want to be the #1 Masters 1 blue belt. And I want to be in the top 10 for the adult blue belt. Those are like my 2 like main goals. And when I was going to these Burning Man parties, like it's like, I don't know, my mentality is just weird. I can never just be like the guy in the crowd. Like I was like, no, I don't want to be just the guy in the crowd. I want to be the DJ. I want to be the guy that everybody's here for. So then I get all these DJ equipment. So it's like I never want to just be just a random. I always want to be like, okay, I got to make like a little name for myself with whatever I do. And it's kind of the same with jiu-jitsu now. Do I think I'm going to be Hodger Gracie? No. But I think I want people in the local circuit to be like, yo, this guy, he gets down. Like he gets down, he competes.
Yeah, you know that guy right there? He's legit.
He's legit, exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
I don't need to be Gordon Ryan, but just, in the OC, LA area, be like, yo, like you said, you see that guy, Rob Cortez? You just try to get around with him. You see me at the open mat, like, yo, get around with him because he's legit.
Yeah.
You feel me?
Yeah, I definitely understand that. I mean, and I think that's a good attitude to have with anything in life. You know, like with this podcast, for example. Like I often tell myself, I'm gonna be on the Joe Rogan show one day. You know.
Oh, you are.
And I'm gonna make this show pop. You know, I'm not gonna let anything stand in my way. And I think having that kind of an attitude is important. Even if, you know, you start letting those little doubts in your mind. Like right now, I was even about to say, oh, well, even though it may never happen, like fuck that. Like it can't happen. You're only 26, right?
29.
Oh, 29. I'm sorry. You look younger.
That's good. I appreciate that.
Yeah, you're 29, dude. Like one of the biggest problems I had growing up was I dropped out of high school after 9th grade. You know, I wrestled my first year at St. John Bosco, and I played football. I had so much promise, you know, and then I ended up screwing up my life and blah, blah, blah. And then when I was like 22, 23, I decided I was going to go, you know, try college out. And I remember being there, like telling myself, look at all these kids, man. These guys are 18, 19. You're too old. You fucked up your life. It's over. Mm-hmm. You know, and I bought into that lie, you know. Yeah. And I ended up dropping out for another 10 years. Didn't go back to school for like another 10 years. And just, you know, telling myself I'm too old. I wanted to go box, 22. And I wanted to learn how to kickbox. I did kickbox, and I did a match and all that. But I kept telling myself, you fucked up, man. You're too old. And then it wasn't until I was like 38. I started jiu-jitsu when I was 38. And I went back to school when I was like 34. Because it took that long for me to get that lie.
Get over that bump.
Yeah.
That
like, cause
doubt
it's not,
in your head, yeah.
Yeah, and it sucks because it was totally not true.
It's not true.
And like, you're only 29, man. Like, you're 29. Now, I don't know how the extent of your injury with your ankle and your body, what you're going through. But if you're healthy, 29, man, that's super young, especially for jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, you know? Right. I see a lot of people. I mean, Alex Pereira, I mean, I know that's the UFC, something a little bit different, but he's 36. I feel like 32 is the new, like, people maybe used to think like 27, 28 was like your prime.
Yeah.
I think it's in your 30s now.
I hope it ends up being 45.
No, you look good.
Because sometimes I
thanks,
man.
I thought you were 35.
Nah, thanks, man. I'm old as fuck. But I still feel good when I'm out there on the jiu-jitsu mat, you know. But truth be told, our MMA guys, they'll fuck me up. They'll tag me up, you know. Like on the mat, I feel I could thrash them. Uh-huh. Like no problem. But these dudes, they know how to strike.
Yeah.
And like easily, little dudes, some little, some tall, some big, you know, different size guys. But the strikers, man, they'll fuck my shit up. You know, standing up. They'll thrash me. I just can't do it. But I still feel good. You know, I feel like maybe I could, if I just, you know, train striking more. It's not that I don't know how. I teach it at the UFC. But my conditioning is good.
For a real match, yeah.
Yeah, but for a real match.
Like a real spar.
Yeah, a real actual match. Yeah, it's like you have someone throwing punches at you. Oof, like if you don't know how to block those.
It's tiring to punch, too.
Oh, yeah. I agree. It's a different type of conditioning.
Yeah, sure. I do a little bit of MMA training on Sundays.
Do you have aspirations for that?
So recently, that's another thing. Like I don't want to be Alex Pereira, but that's kind of my same mentality that I have with jiu-jitsu. If I were to dabble in MMA, I'd be like, well, I definitely would want to be known in the local scene. Like if I did Spar Star, I would like to do like their amateur fights. Like we have a couple of teammates that have been doing them, and I look at some of their other people. I'm like, I definitely think I could beat that guy up. Or I'm like, man, this guy is trying to do MMA, but he didn't wrestle in high school. Not that everybody has to wrestle, but I'll just be watching, and I'll be like, oh, you know, I think I would have been able to take him down or stuff that takedown.
Yeah.
I always just look for myself in things that I like. You know, I was going to the Burning Man parties. I wanted to be a DJ. I'm going to do jiu-jitsu. I want to be like somebody who's locally good. Now I'm like kind of thinking about doing MMA.
Yeah.
You know, be somebody who's like locally good. Like I don't have to be Connor, but at least somebody who's decent.
Yeah. Do you think how much do you weigh right now?
200.
You're 200?
Yep.
Yeah. What weight do you think you need to be to compete at an MMA?
If I did my first amateur fight, I would probably do 185. Mm-hmm. If that didn't go well for me, then I would probably try to go down to 170. You
pretty good at controlling your weight?
I I usually do medium heavy for Jiu Jitsu, which is 195. So I think I would just have to lose 5 more pounds, which I think is definitely manageable.
Yeah.
And I think for a lot of the MMA promotions, they do the day before. You weigh in the day before.
Yeah. I totally fucked up on this last tournament. I signed up for the one at Hope University, I think, or
Oh yeah, I seen that one.
that was the
NABJJF.
NABJJF, yeah. And I should have did medium heavy, but I think I did the one down. I think, which I think is just heavy.
Middle or one above it, heavy.
Well,
208.
I want to do the under 208. So I think is that heavy? That's heavy, right? Yeah. And then the one up above it is medium heavy, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Anyway, I was convinced I was going to lose 20 pounds in 3 weeks or 4 weeks. And, which I can do technically, like physically capable of doing, but it wasn't the inability physically to do it. It was the discipline. You know, I should have changed my diet up.
Yeah, it's hard.
It's super hard. It's the discipline of it. And that's, man, what a huge letdown for me. 'Cause, you know, I take full responsibility for that. Like I should have, you know, manned up. I signed up for that weight class. I should have, you know, dropped the weight like I was supposed to. Well, what would it have meant? A few less cheeseburgers and fries, you know, just for the 1 month, just eat healthy. Because I lose weight really fast.
Me too.
But I put it right back on. It just as fast.
Same here.
Right? You know what I mean? Like I could drop 20 pounds in like, you know, a week. Mm-hmm. But I could put it right back on over the weekend. Just a few burgers.
I'm like that too. I'm just like that. And not a lot of people are. Like, people trip out. I'm like, yeah, I'm going to lose 12 pounds. They're like, you're 12 pounds above. You're 202. You got to be 190. I'm like, yeah, I know. I'm going to start cutting tomorrow.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, I don't want to go 5 days without eating. I'll go 2-3 days without eating.
Yeah, I've done that before. Yeah, just don't eat. Yeah. I mean, obviously your strength goes down. Yeah, that was part of it. That was when I first started jiu-jitsu. I was 250.
I was 230.
Were you? Yeah. Yeah, and I was strong as fuck. I was strong, but then you start losing all that weight real fast. Next thing I know, I can barely lift up a bag of chips. You know, it was really hard. What do you do outside of jiu-jitsu? What I mean, are you dating? You got a girlfriend? What are you doing? What do you do for fun?
I'm not dating right now. I'm pretty much like a monk. Until I have like 20,000 saved in my savings. I don't think
got a goal in mind?
Yeah, I feel like, well, I just don't think, like, you know, like, I would want any girlfriend that I have had, like, if I had a girlfriend and she had a job, I'd be happy with that. I'd be cool with that. Obviously, I'm not going to be like, you need to quit your job. But I would want them to have the option to be like, if I didn't have a job, like, let's say one day we have a kid, like, would we be able to make it work with just you? Mm. And right now I can't do that. Mm. So once I can make the switch, hopefully with the plumbing, I'll be able to put myself in a better position. But yeah, I'm not dating. I'm not looking to date anyone. Yeah.
Well, I think you can with, I think plumbing is that you can make, I know plumbers who own houses and make great money. Mm-hmm. You know, like what skill level are you as a plumber?
I'm just an apprentice. Oh, but okay. Even since it's my buddy's business, he already started me at $30 an hour.
That's great.
So
that's a lot. That's pretty good.
I think, like you said, with the plumbing, it's definitely doable, right? And I think all my goals that I ever have are like realistic. Like, I'm never like, I think when I was a white belt, I think I was like, I want to be the ADCC champion, and then like a few people were like, that's gonna be really hard, but kudos to you, you know. Yeah. But I think as I got older and I started training, right, and I was like, okay, everybody's fucking really good. Everybody's really good. Yeah. So then I was like, okay, I'm going to be the number one master guy, top 10 in the blue belt and purple belt, you know, do the same thing. My goals are very, like, reasonable. So when it comes to the dating, I feel like it's, like, the same way. Like, you need to know, if I were to get a girlfriend, am I going to start talking to her about marriage the next week? No. But I think that I should be ready.
I think that's smart.
Right?
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, like, who would, like, you know, just if you have, imagine, you know, you have a girlfriend and then she's ready, but then you're not financially, like, that would just be unfortunate.
It's like trying to put a square peg in a round hole.
Exactly.
You know, you're trying to make, you're so right, because there's so many things that I certainly didn't think about when I was, you know, before I got married. And I love my wife. I'm not trying to blow up my marriage or anything. You know, when I met my wife, I was a heavy drinker. I had been a heavy drinker for 25 years. You know, I was a waster. Yeah, I was training jiu-jitsu. And so I did stop drinking for a little bit. I smoked a lot of pot when I first started jiu-jitsu, and I thought it just made me so much better. And it just kind of put you in a zone when you're training and stuff like that. But when I stopped smoking and drinking and all that stuff, like, it made me, you know, I think it had its benefits, and it has its benefits. Obviously, I'm healthier. I feel better about myself emotionally and all that kind of stuff. But there was, I do credit somewhat that I was so in the zone when I was a white belt and blue belt. Like, man, I picked up on everything so fast because the pot made me so interested in what I was learning. You know, I was like just zoned in on my coach and what he was teaching. I never had trouble picking up technique. Like, I just don't. Some people, I coach too, and some of my students, some people just have a hard time picking up technique. And I don't know what that is. And I wonder if, like, when I was starting out, if I didn't smoke pot, if I would not have paid as zoned in and paying as much attention as I did.
I'm smiling because I think it's human nature, the what ifs. Well, what if this guy does this? And what if this guy does that? Or, you know, what if, you know? And I think when you're just so high on weed and you have someone in your life, you say, it seems like you're pretty cool with your coach, and they're just like, you're going to do this and this. You don't ask no fucking questions. You're like, let's clap our hands, and I want to go to my section and just work this because I don't want to say hi to anyone. And it's not like I'm the grouch. Like, if one of the girls or somebody comes up and tries to give me a hug, I'll give them a hug. I say hi to them. I'm still nice, but I'm just saying, like, freaking baked right now. I'm freaking baked right now.
Right.
I just care about what Jason's saying, what he's teaching.
Right.
That's why we pay our monthly fee, and that's it.
Right. I thought I was so antisocial, but it turned out that I just was high.
Yeah, it faded.
Yeah.
I don't want to talk to anyone. And then, I smoke before practice. Now, am I saying that makes me better or worse? I don't know. But I try to, like, I kind of just do the same thing every day. But back to what you were saying, what I do outside of the gym, I'm not dating right now. Kind of, you know, like I said, I was going to Burning Man and stuff like that. So I still kind of, like, I still love live music. So I still go to, like, EDC, techno parties.
Yeah.
But it's just not like before. Like I said, I wanted to be the DJ. So it was like, I was finding different jobs of that sort, like passing out flyers, being promoters. Like, okay, I can pass out a flyer for this festival, and I'm gonna get a ticket for free. So I'm gonna bring all my DJ stuff to the campgrounds. Like, you know, that was kind of like my idea. Now I do jiu-jitsu. I still love music. So, you know, let's say I have Master International coming, and then a few of us 3 weeks after the tournament, we're supposed to go to a festival together. Mm-hmm. Me and some of our teammates from Dream Art.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. So you guys do stuff outside the gym?
Oh, absolutely. We do. That's one of the things so it was so weird. So like I said, I was doing the Burning Man stuff. I have another buddy, shout out to him, Kyle Guzman. He's an engineer. He's a purple belt. He's really good. I think he just saw that I was like I had gone to jiu-jitsu for a while, and like I was hitting it hard. And then I was finally like, okay, like if I go to this festival, it's not gonna like ruin my progression. Like I'll be okay. So I'm like posting, and he was the only one that I knew that liked like music festivals. So I'm like sending him Snapchats and stuff like, oh, yo, look what I'm doing. I'm over here, blah, blah, blah. Once he sees that, he's like, shows me, he's like, yeah, I go to these parties, blah, blah, blah. I go with my girlfriend, my friends, blah, blah, blah. So I'm like, oh, you know, let me go with you. And then it just kind of snowballed into this thing. People on our team were like, oh, blah, blah, blah. You guys are training partners, and you guys are hanging out outside of the gym. Like, that's cool. We want to go to the next one. So now probably on this one that I'm referring to, there'll probably be like 30 of us, maybe 10 of us from the gym, and then friends of ours are like the other 20 collective.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, we do stuff outside of the gym, and sometimes like we do stuff out of the gym, but sometimes not me included, right? And for me, I actually always work weekends. Because I work at a bar.
Yeah.
So sometimes people, they do stuff and I'm not there, but I try to be when I can. I know the girls on our team, they hang out a lot. I just want to give a shout out to the girls on our team because they're very good. They do this thing. I think it's on the 28th. I can double check my phone. But if you have any people from your gym, females, or if anybody who looks at this podcast, they do once a month, female only open mat. They play like music and stuff. I don't know.
Oh, that's great. Is there a particular day of the month that they do that?
I think it's
Go ahead, look it up.
I think it's the 3rd.
At our gym, we have all female open mat as well. I think that's at 9 in the morning every Saturday before the regular open mat.
May 26th.
So this next one coming up is May 26th?
Yes, sir.
At Dream Art Jiu Jitsu, Fullerton.
Yes, sir.
Absolutely, man.
Any girls listening to this, or any guys that have girlfriends that train, or if you have a girlfriend who does not train but wants to train, it seems like the girls at our gym are very, very nice. They're very, very good at jiu-jitsu. Like I'm going for the Master International title. The girl who runs it, shout out to her, Christina Kwok. She won last year. We have another girl on the team. Shout out to her, Melissa Poland. They actually live together. They met through our gym. Our people are pretty tight knit. If I told you if I named every tournament she's got a gold medal at, like that would probably take like a long time because she's just winning everything. Yeah. She was doing adult. She just started recently doing Masters 1, and I think she that's pretty much won everything. I think she even got double gold. No. She did one bracket. She got gold. If both these girls, Christina Kwok, Melissa Poland, if both these girls do Master Worlds in September, I definitely think they will win. And but it's the reason I bring them up too, not only because their jiu-jitsu skills are very good, but they would be very welcoming and opening if we had some new girls or just girls that never been to their open mats. They seem very, they're playing music that they like, Taylor Swift and stuff. And I'm not even saying that as a joke. Like they like Taylor Swift and stuff. So
that's cool. Yeah, I like. We have quite a few girls now too. When I first started, we had maybe just a couple. Yeah, and it's cool too to see because when they started, they're very their jiu-jitsu wasn't was white belt level, and you see them now, man. It's just like, man, so much. My wife trains too.
Oh, that's very cool.
She's a blue belt, and she's pretty good too. Taps dudes.
What belt are you?
I'm a brown. Yeah, I'm a two stripe brown. I've been a brown belt for maybe a couple of years now, I think. And I've been coaching at the UFC, and I've been trying to find my place. I got to find a place to coach that's far enough for my coach. Because we don't want to compete against each other. So I'm trying to find a place to settle. I'm at the UFC over the hill in the City of Industry.
Okay. I would go train at the one in Brea a little bit on Friday.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, I went to the Matthias Luna seminar there.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So you have a membership there?
No, they were letting me in.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah. No, that's great. And I just jiu-jitsu, obviously, like you, probably a big part of our lives. And I like to see schools that have a good female presence. I think it's important. I think it's good for the culture.
Absolutely. Like I said, so I'm not allowed at the female open mats.
Wow. That makes sense, bro.
But at the from the videos and the posts and stuff, it looks like they're having a lot of fun, and it looks like they're having fun, doing good, getting some good rounds in. And we have other girls too. Not only they don't just shine in the all girl class. Like we have other girls that train in the regular classes too, and they do good. We have Samantha Acosta. She's a blue belt. She still does adult. Bianca. I actually don't even know her last name because I call her Gato.
Yeah.
She just got gold and silver. I mean, everybody's good. Everybody's really good. Have you? You just reminded me because you said you were a brown belt. I did this super fight recently called Arte Suave.
You did?
Yes.
Oh, that's great, man. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Actually, I thought I saw a poster and I was like, that's probably why. I think that's part of the reason why I hit you up. I was like, oh, dude, this guy's doing some super fights.
Perfect. Yeah.
I saw the poster on your timeline.
So shout out to Arte Suave. I had a match there. I won. So I had applied to do it last year, like before I got injured. My guy pulled out. I ended up having then they had another guy pull out, but he was my teammate size. So he goes and does that in San Diego. A year passes. I go through these injuries, and then I'm finally coming back. And then the guy, his name's Dana, I believe. I don't even know if his name's actually Dana because he calls himself like Dana Brown instead of Dana White. But if you're watching this from Arte Suave, shout out to you. He's like, yo, we're gonna have you we want you to do a match. So I'm like, all right, blah, blah, blah. You know, I don't do anything without asking my coaches.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, I got to talk to Jason. I got to talk to Ray. And they were cool with this. So then I look up this guy, and I'm like, man, this guy lives in Washington. He's a brown belt in judo, but he's a blue belt in jiu-jitsu. I'm like, it's probably not that guy. Like, why would a guy from Washington be doing a SoCal promotion, like smaller promotion? Like, that doesn't make sense. Come closer to the fight. It's that guy. He's a brown belt in judo. This guy, I looked up his Instagram. I personally think he made a fake Instagram. No disrespect. Yeah. But his bio says he has like 30 IBJJF medals. So then I'm like, man, I kind of feel like this is almost supposed to be like an easy match for him and a hard one for me. Like almost like he's gonna win. Like they're giving him lunch through me. You get me?
Yeah.
They're like, oh, you know what? Like, cause it was like weird. Cause then they were like, this guy was gonna fly from Washington, and I don't mean no disrespect to this guy. He said his grandma died and stuff, so R.I.P. to her. Then they hit me up and they're like, oh, we have a black belt. He wants to do a match. Jason is essentially, he's retired. But like I said, me and him are friends. So then I look up the black belt. I'm very nerdy with the stuff that I like. So I'm like, I look up the black belt. I'm like, what? This is the coach. This is the coach of my guy. Yeah. So then I'm like, they're kind of like hinting, like, if you have any coaches or anybody, you know. And I had hit up a few people, but then I just tell Jason right away. I'm like, yo, I kind of feel like these guys are trying to dog on us. Just like, well, what do you mean by that? I'm like, well, this guy's flying in from Washington. He's a black belt in judo. He's competing in blue belt, which I think is lame. He wants to go against me. And now they're inviting his coach on the show. Like, I feel like that's in a way of saying, like, yo, you're going to win your match. Let's bring your coach. You know, we can make a thing out of this. Yeah. So Jason's like, I'm in. Tell him I'm in. We're doing it 100%. I got your back. So then I just feel dope. I'm like, all right, me and Jason about to run this. Yeah. So then they asked us, you know, so they already asked me, hey, do you want to do gi or no gi? I'm like, gi. Yeah. They asked Jason. We compete gi a lot at our gym. We do no gi too. And then so they tell Jason, they ask me to ask Jason, do you want to do gi or no gi? Same as him. He says gi. We train gi more. So yeah. The black belt pulls out. I don't know if he looked up his videos. Whatever. Jason agrees. The guy's like, oh, I'd rather do no gi. So we're just like, that's weird. Like, you know, you could have just told us that we have a no-gi match. Whatever. So the guy pulls out. Then my guy pulls out. The black belt in judo. He actually messaged me on Instagram. He said his grandma died. So his name was Justin Hume. If you see this, R.I.P. to your grandma. I mean, no disrespect to you. But then they're like, oh, we're going to get you a replacement, blah, blah, blah. Don't worry about it. You still need to show up that day, blah, blah, blah. So then I show up. I don't know who I'm going against. I actually win, what is it called? Shout out Zombies Grip. Because they like, I won a kit, like a no-gi kit, like a rash guard and a shorts. Yeah. So I'm all pumped. I'm like, dude, this is dope. I'm going to do a match. I won a kit. Like, I'm already feeling good. And so then zombie grips reach out to me like, hey, you won this for your match. We want you to wear this. Me just kind of being like an honest person, I kind of was just like, oh man, I kind of really want that kit, so I'm just gonna not say anything. You know, you can't do that.
Yeah.
I reach out to them. I'm like, hey, I appreciate that you guys chose me as the winner.
Yeah.
But I'm actually doing a gi match, so there's no way that I would be able to promote your guys' stuff. But I do appreciate it. They say, hey, you know what? We appreciate your honesty. We're gonna give you a rash guard. So I get there, they give me my rash guard. The guy was like, yo, thank you for being honest, yada, yada, yada. So now I'm in the warm-up area. There's this other guy. He trains in Whittier. His name's Rich Killer, I believe his name is.
What gym does he train out of?
10th Planet Whittier, I believe.
Oh, yeah.
He's, like, warming up this other guy. But we're, like, they have it separated. Like, if you're on this side, you're probably, you know, you're the red corner. And if you're on this side, you're the blue corner. So then he's training this guy, and I'm on this guy. I'm in my gi. They're kind of in their no-gi stuff. You know, they're doing their thing. I have a teammate. Her name is Vanessa Pena. She was on the card as well. So we're warming up together, you know, and they're warming up together. But I don't even know that the guy he's warming up is my opponent because he was probably like 15 pounds smaller than me. They have like it's almost like doing a tournament in a sense. They have a runner come out, hey, Robert Cortez, Brian, blah blah blah. And so then when they come to the room, they say my name and they say this kid's name, the kids that he's training. And I'm just like all confused because I'm just in my gi, in my belt, and then to see this guy, he's on this like fresh no-gi gear, like he looks like a no-gi fighter, right?
Yeah.
I try, you know, I'm not a complainer, so I'm like, oh, he's probably just gonna put the gi over his no-gi stuff. Like I see people do that sometimes; they just feel comfortable like that. So we're literally walking up to do our super match. Yeah. I tell this guy, hey, you're gonna put your gi on? The guy's like, no. I'm just like looking at myself, looking at him. The runner's like, they're looking at the thing. And I'm like, look, I'm not gonna make anything out of this, but if you look at the Arte Suave posters, like the people who are doing no-gi, they have a picture of them in no-gi.
In no-gi.
And the people who are doing gi, they have a picture of them in the gi. Everything leading up is me in the gi. So I know 100% that I was asked to do this match in the gi. This kid, I think he was a college wrestler, JUCO level, I believe. I don't know too much about him. That's just someone said he was a JUCO wrestler. He trained in La Habra. But he's kind of like, well, I'm already in my no-gi stuff, so you're cool with that, right? And when
he's basically trying to get you to switch it up and do no-gi match when you've prepared and you're ready mentally for a gi.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So then I think, oh, Zombies Grip, they just gave me the rash guard. And then maybe if you saw the photo or any of the videos. Yeah. And then I rewatched it on YouTube, and they were my teammates and then the commentators, they were calling me the Eddie Bravo guy because I had the rash guard. And it's so funny, the rash guard was black and yellow, like kind of like an Aztec.
But you were wearing gi pants?
Gi pants that were black and yellow too, shoyu roll. Yeah. And then so it kind of looked like I did it on purpose, you know? But I didn't. And but I ended up still winning the match. You know, they were like, okay, this guy's college wrestler. So I just played half guard against him. He couldn't really like figure it out. Deep half, you know, when he would do the wizard, and I'd go deep half. So I ended up winning the match, but there was a little bit of like just things leading up to where like, oh, I guess I got to do no-gi now. I guess I got to do this now.
So you ended up doing no-gi?
Yes, sir.
Oh, wow. Yeah. So you just said, fuck it, I'm just going to do it.
I felt that if I didn't, that I wasn't going to get a match. So
yeah, and you just want to rest. You want to get in there.
Yeah.
I respect. Yeah, respect that. Yeah. So we're about to finish up here. Last question. What is it about you that you want people to know about you? If that's makes sense.
I want people to know, like I said, I have I fell short for wrestling. There's another thing I kind of wanted to bang on before we get out of here. You said you dropped out of high school. You are having some trouble going in and out of college. And I think that's what makes jiu-jitsu so beautiful, and it attracts, I don't want to say knuckleheads, but people that were knuckleheads, like me, maybe even like you. You see, you dropped out of high school because it's like you do want to continue to play sports. You start thinking, oh, maybe I'm a little bit too old. Maybe I'm a little bit too old. For me, I would think of like the Army guys. I'd be like, oh, maybe I am a little bit too old. But this guy just got out of the Army. He's 27. He's 28. He's in the class too. Like, you know. So, but I think I just want people to know that it's never too late. It doesn't matter your past or what you've done. If you've done something bad, if you've gone to jail, none of those things. Like if you put your mind to do something great, you know, and it's like that kind of like that cliche saying, you know, if you aim for the moon, you're going to at least fall on the stars, right? So don't ever, I think if you have an idea, and it doesn't even have to be jiu-jitsu, whether you want to make, you know, you want to be a director, you want to be an actor, you want to be a DJ, you want to be a producer, whatever you decide that you think you want to be a coach, whatever you want to do in your life. Like, now I'm not saying take all your money out of your savings and put it into what you're going for, but go all in, you know, as much as you can, you know. And I think people will respect that and admire that because, you know, like, you know, I that's all I can say. I was a knucklehead, and I would kind of causing trouble, causing fights, and finding jiu-jitsu kind of made it like, I think it made me a better person overall.
Yeah. Robert Cortez, Dream Art Jiu-Jitsu Fullerton, thank you so much for coming on the show. I wish you all the best of luck when you do your Masters tournament on May 30th. It's over in the Long Beach Pyramid, I believe. And all the best of luck to you, man. I hope we get you on the show again.
My pleasure, brother. Thank you for inviting me.